How the Doggy Caught a Chill. In a little house by the forest lived Doggy and Kitty, who loved each other dearly. They had one special tradition. When summer slowly gave way to autumn, they always went on their trip to Three Hills. It reminded them of their very first adventure together. First the small hill, then the medium one, and finally the big hill, where they always shared a kiss on the top. One chilly September morning, they both woke up early. The sun was only just peeking out, and the meadow outside was covered with dew. Kitty was excited to set off, but when she saw that Doggy wasn't putting on any warm clothes, she grew uncertain. "Doggy, aren't you underestimating the weather? Won't we be cold?" she asked gently. She went to check the jar where they kept their little weather frog. Yesterday it had sat high on its ladder, but this morning it was right at the bottom. That meant only one thing: colder weather and maybe even rain. "I'd rather be careful," Kitty sighed, and advised Doggy to dress warmly. But Doggy just waved his paw. "Unnecessary worries. I'm warm right now. Even if it gets colder, I don't mind. Besides, I think our frog always gets it wrong," he said stubbornly. Kitty wasn't happy, but she knew how headstrong Doggy could be. So she shook her head, dressed warmly herself, and tucked a cap into her pocket, just in case. And so they set off together. They climbed the first small hill cheerfully. The sun smiled, the breeze was light, and the grass whispered around them. Doggy tried to catch butterflies with his paws, while Kitty tried to recall the names of the flowers along the path. When they reached the top, a beautiful view opened before them. But just then, the wind picked up, and heavy gray clouds drifted in from the west. Kitty looked at them worriedly but said nothing. Doggy didn't seem to notice at all. They went on toward the medium hill. Now the wind grew stronger and much colder. Doggy's ears began to tremble, but he said nothing. Kitty quietly pulled on her cap and felt fine. When they reached the top, the wind blew so fiercely it almost tore their paws away from their bodies. Kitty saw Doggy shivering all over and felt sorry for him. "Oh, if only I had brought something warm for him too," she thought. But Doggy tried to look brave. As they started climbing the third, biggest hill, the sky was already covered with clouds. The wind tore at their fur and pulled leaves from the trees. Halfway up, a drizzle began. At first just tiny drops bouncing on the stones like glass marbles, but soon the rain grew heavier. Doggy stopped and looked sadly at Kitty. He was shaking like a leaf, his fur bristled, and his nose was icy cold. "Kitty," he whimpered, "you were right. I underestimated it. I'm freezing, and I don't think I can make it to the top. Please don't be angry. Could we go back today and maybe finish tomorrow?" Kitty stroked his back. "That's all right, Doggy. Reaching the top isn't the most important thing. What matters is that we feel well." They turned around and ran quickly down. The drizzle turned to a downpour, thunder rumbled, and lightning tore across the sky. They ran as fast as their legs would carry them until at last they reached home. Kitty was wet, but Doggy, he was soaked to the bone. He shivered, panted, and looked miserable. At once he jumped into a tub of hot water, then curled up under a warm blanket. He fell asleep immediately, exhausted. Kitty hung up their clothes to dry, warmed some soup, and finally snuggled close to Doggy. The storm raged outside, but in their little house it was warm and safe. By morning, the sky was clear again, and the air smelled fresh after rain. The weather frog sat high on its ladder. It promised a beautiful day. Kitty smiled, eager to finish their trip. But oh dear, Doggy woke up with a headache, hot and trembling. "I think I caught a chill. It's my own fault. I should have listened to you, Kitty," he moaned. Kitty stroked his forehead. "Don't worry, Doggy. The important thing now is for you to get well." She made him warm tea with honey and hurried into town for medicine. For 2 days, Doggy lay in bed, drank tea, and rested. Kitty cared for him, changed his compresses, and read him stories. On the 3rd day, Doggy finally woke up full of energy. "Hooray! I'm better again," he barked, leaping out of bed. This time he checked the weather frog himself. It sat right in the middle of the ladder. The weather can go either way," he said seriously. "But I won't underestimate it again." He put on a sweater, took his cap and scarf, and off they went happily. The whole day the sun shone, the birds sang, and the breeze was gentle. When they reached the top of the big hill, they were full of joy. And so their tradition remained unbroken, only delayed by a few days. And from then on, Doggy always wore warm clothes on their trip, just to be sure.